Hello?
You guys hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. It's nice to...
Really? Introductions? What time do you think we have for introductions?
Shouldn't you at least ask our names or why we're here?
I read the email. You are two people here to promote your opera show. To me. The introductions are made, so let's go on with the actual promotion.
Of course. Right. We have an incredible idea.
Idea, which we have ready to show and perform.
Right. It's all ready. We have the whole show set to show you. All of it.
Exactly what I was expecting, thank goodness. You're both not a waste of time. I have seen enough distractor potential stunts to clearly shoot.
That's a funny one.
Ow! So, what is this opera you have ready and set to go?
Well, it's actually nowhere we could go to. We'll have the show ready to be on screen for you to watch.
We know that it's not exactly custom for operas to be watched on a tiny screen.
Are you kidding? Were you expecting me to come drive to your amidst a global pandemic? An online show is just fine. We have been talking long enough at this point. Why don't you tell me about this show of yours?
Well, we call it opera.
In a box.
Opera in a box. It has a catchy ring to it, so what opera do you have in this box?
Well, we have the opera Ruddigore, actually, and since our opera in a box focuses on just the music and individual scenes, we'll explain each scene as we get to it.
This starting song is in the first act of the show, where the town Ruddigore takes place and is having a radical decline in marriages. Because of this, the town's professional bridesmaids are in a bit of a whirl as they desperately look for work. In this talk about ideas on what to do next, Dame Hannah, the aunt of the town's most desired maiden, is led to explain a curse that has befallen the generations of barons of Ruddigore.
I think you'll find Dame Hannah to be quite a woman, and it just so happens that the cast are meeting in 10 minutes. I have to go, she has to go get ready for she has to go get ready for her part.
Well, she better get going then.
And we are off to the Rose Garden.
Hello, Hannah.
Gentle maidens, I must tell you, Rose is still heart-free and looks but coldly upon her many suitors.
Indeed. Well, I must say, Dame Hannah, your apartment looks lovely, but it's true. Every young man in the village is in love with her, but they are appalled by her beauty and modesty and won't declare themselves. So until she makes her own choice, there's no chance for anybody else.
It's true. This is perhaps the only village in the world that possesses an endowed corps of professional bridesmaids who are bound to be on duty every day from 10 to 4. And it is at least 6 months since our services were required. The pious charity by which we exist is practically wasted.
That's true. We shall be disendowed. That will be the end of it. Dame Hannah, you're a nice old person. You could marry if you liked. There's old Adam, Robin's faithful servant. He loves you with all the frenzy of a boy of 14.
Nay, that may never be, for I am pledged.
To whom?
To an eternal maidenhood.
Ah.
I was betrothed to a godlike youth who wooed me under an assumed name. But on the very day upon which our wedding was to have been celebrated, I discovered that he was no other than Sir Roderick Murgatroyd, the bad baronets of Ruddigore, and uncle of the man who now bears that title. As a son of that accursed race, he was no husband for an honest girl, so madly as I loved him, I left him then and there. He died but 10 years since, but I never saw him again.
But why should you not marry a bad baronet of Ruddigore?
All baronets are bad. But was he worse than other baronets?
My child, he was accursed.
But who cursed him? Not you, I trust.
The curse is on all his line, and has been ever since the time of Sir Rupert, the first baronet. And as soon as I get to the rose garden, I shall tell you all about it.
Sir Rupert Murgatroyd, his leisure and his riches, he ruthlessly employed in persecuting witches. With fear he'd make them quake, he'd duck them in his lake, he'd break their bones with stakes and stones, and burn them at the stake. Once on the village green, a palsied hag he roasted, and what took place, I ween, shook his composure boasted. For as the torture grim seized on each withered limb, the writhing dame, mid fire and flame, yelled forth this curse on him. Each lord of Ruddigore, despite his best endeavor, shall do one crime or more, once every day forever. This doom he can't defy, however he may try. For should he stay his hand, that day in torture he shall die. The prophecy came true, each heir who held the title had every day to do some crime of import vital, until with guilt or pride, I'll sin no more, he cried. And on the day he said that say, in agony he died. And thus with saving glory has died rich Murgatroyd, and so shall fall of one and all each coming
Hello, Rose dear. How are you today?
Hush, Gilbert, for thy words pain me sorely. This hollowed volume, composed, if I may believe the title page, by no less authority than the wife of a Lord Mayor, has been, through life, my guide and monitor. There are those in this village who bite their nails, Gilbert, and nearly all are wont to use their pocket combs in public places. In truth, I could pursue this painful theme much further, but behold, I have said enough.
But is there not one amongst those who is faultless in thine eyes? For example, young Robin. He combines the manners of a marquis with the morals of a Methodist. Couldst thou not love him?
And even if I could, how should I confess it unto him? For lo, he is shy, and saith not. I must discuss this further to you face to face. I'll meet you in the rose garden.
I'll see you here.
If somebody that chanced to be, who loved me in a manner true,
Mistress Rose,
Master Robin,
I wish to say that, well, it is fine.
it is passing fine.
Well, but we do want rain.
I, sorely. Is that all?
That is all.
Good day, Master Robin.
Good day, Mistress Rose.
I beg pardon, You were about to say?
Well, I would fain consult you.
Truly?
It is about a friend.
In truth, I have a friend myself, and I would fain consult you.
About him?
About her.
Well, let us consult one another. I will meet you in the rose garden.
I know a youth who loves a little maid, hey, but his face is a sight for to see. Silent is he, for he's modest and afraid, hey, but he's timid as a youth can be.
I know a maid who loves a gallant youth, hey, but she sickens as the days go by. She cannot tell him all the sad, sad truth, hey, but I think that little maid will die.
Poor little man,
Poor little maid,
poor little man.
poor little maid.
Now tell me, pray, and tell me true, what in the world should the young man do? He cannot eat and he cannot sleep, hey, but his face is a sight for to see. Daily he goes for to wail and to weep, hey, but he's wretched as a youth can be.
She's very thin and she's very pale, hey, but she sings as the days go by. Daily she goes for to weep, for to wail, hey, but I think that little maid will die.
Poor little maid,
Poor little man,
poor little maid.
poor little man.
Now tell me, pray, and tell me true, what in the world should the young man do?
If I were the youth, I should offer her my name, hey, but her face is a sight for to see.
If I were the maid, I should fan his honest flame, hey, but he's bashful as a youth can be.
If I were the youth, I should speak to her today, hey, but she sickens as the days go by.
If I were the maid, I would meet the lad halfway, for I really do believe the timid youth will die.
Poor little man,
Poor little maid,
poor little man.
poor little maid.
I thank you,
This
sir,
for your counsel true, I'll tell that he what he ought to do.
So at this point, we would.
Don't speak to me like a director. You're presenting a show, aren't you?
Shouldn't we explain the show to you in terms of what the plan is, so you know what's next and when we interject?
The last I checked, we aren't characters in this opera in this box. There's nothing anyone needs to hear from us.
Don't be like that. It makes us sound like our lives are boring and uninteresting. We all have our reasons for why we're doing this.
Of course, just like you're being called washed up. And
Washed up me? I don't care what those quote-unquote big shots are up in New York or Hollywood. I'm still the best of what I do. And I only promote the best too. So if you're hoping for this show to be the next biggest thing in the opera world, ever seen, then I suggest you shut up and explain the next scene coming up.
You really don't like being called washed up, do you?
Why don't we continue on? So this next part of Ruddigore will be moving towards scene number 10, where Rose Maybud is currently attempting to choose between two suitors who are after her heart. Robin, who is one of the town's nobles, and Richard, a mariner who's just come back into town and are both best friends. But in this battle for the maiden's heart, neither is willing to give in. After that, we head to scene 13, where we meet one of the opera's antagonists, the bad baronet of Ruddigore.
But is the bad baronet as bad as he seems? There's bound to be a dozen questions coming out of that song, but we'll talk about that more soon. For now, enjoy the next scene.
Now you're forgetting it.
Hello, Rose. Let me tell you about my good friend Richard. Look at his good qualities. He's as nimble as a pony, and his hornpipe is the talk of the fleet.
Thank you, Rob. That's well spoken. Thank you, Rob.
But it may be that he drinks strong waters, which do amuse a man, and make him even as the wild beasts of the desert.
Well, suppose he does. And I don't say he don't, for rum's his bane, ever has been. He does drink, I won't deny it, but what of that? Look at his arm, tattooed to the shoulder. No, I won't hear a word against Dick.
But they say that mariners are but rarely true to those whom they profess to love.
Granted, and I don't say that Dick isn't as bad as any of them. You are, you know you are, you dog, a devil of a fellow, a regular out-and-out Lothario. But what then? You can't have everything, and a better hand at turning in a dead eye don't walk a deck. And what an accomplishment that is in a family man. No, not a word against Dick. I'll stick up for him through thick and thin.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. You're a true friend. I've acted according to my heart's dictates, and such orders as them no man should disobey.
Well, that does sound intriguing. Meet me over at Lake Hollingsworth and we can talk about it more.
Sailing o'er life's ocean wide, your heart must be your only guide. In solace and fragrant winds, yourself and fortified.
My heart says to this maiden's kind, she's come to do, she's just the sort of girl you like. You know you do. If all the men her heart should gain, a shorter sign, that's what it says to me quite plain. This heart of mine, this heart of mine.
My heart says you for prosperous lot, with acres wide, you mean to settle all you've got upon your pride. It don't pretend to shake my axe by word or sign. It merely states the simple facts. This heart of mine, this heart of mine.
10 minutes since my heart said white, it now says black. It then says left, it now says right. Heart's oft intact. I must obey its latest strain. You tell me so, but should it change its mind again, I'll let you know, I'll let you know. In sailing o'er life's ocean wide, on our heart should be my guide. But it is awkward when you find a heart that does not know its mind. A heart that does not know its mind.
Watch now, as the townspeople are filled with terror at the sight of the bad baronet of Ruddigore. What evil and vile deed could he possibly be there to commit?
No cast members were harmed in the making of this production.
Well, that's boring. Whatever happened to break a leg?
Oh, why am I moody and sad?
Can't guess.
And why am I guiltily mad?
Confess.
Because I am thoroughly bad.
Oh, yes.
You'll see it at once in my face. Oh, why am I husky and hoarse?
Oh, why?
It's the workings of conscience, of course.
Bye-bye.
And huskiness stands for remorse.
Oh, why?
At least it does so in my case. When in crime one is fully employed,
Like you.
your expression gets warped and destroyed.
It do.
It's a penalty few can avoid.
How true.
I once was a nice-looking youth, but I stole from a strong hand.
That's nice.
I rushed at my terrible fault.
That's nice.
Observe the unpleasant result.
Not nice.
Indeed, I am telling the truth. Oh, innocent, happy though poor.
That's me.
If I'd been virtuous, I'm sure.
Like me.
I should be as lonely as you.
Maybe.
You are very nice looking indeed. Oh, innocence, listen and tell.
We don't.
Avoid an existence of pride.
Just so.
Or you'll be as lovely as I. And now, if you please to proceed.
Well, that's our presentation of Ruddigore.
As you can see, opera in a box is a way to include the most of whatever opera we set our hearts to.
By squeezing in the rough story, it allows us to perform multiple operas in a short amount of time.
The idea is intriguing, and you got a fine cast. I like it so far. What's our second opera then?
The second opera.
You both haven't chosen a second opera for your show, have you?
It's not that we haven't. In fact, we have so many options. It's hard to choose from one of them.
Relax. I'm not hoping of this idea because of a bit of oversight. It just so happens I have my own opera present for your box. Look at the email I just gave and start reading both of you.
You're pretty fast for a has-been.
I told you, she's never lost her touch, even after all these.
The script, read it! In the meantime, this next snippet of opera in a box before our next opera, we will feature the song of Sonata a lagrimar from Giulio Cesare, written by George Frederick Handel. In the opera, this song closes Act 1 and is sung by Cornelia and Sesto, a mother and son pair who are both in grief as Sesto is captured by soldiers after his mother refuses the affections of Aquila, who is allied to the Egyptian King Ptolemy, the murderer of Cornelia's husband, Sesto's father. The song is hopeless and tragic as the pair wonder and even seem to conclude that they have been born to this world only to sigh and cry.
have to admit, that narration was great. So brief yet concise. And the song chosen was so beautiful.
And this next opera, you seem to know a lot about it.
Of course I do. I've worked hundreds of operas in my time. I'm familiar with this entire opera world, much larger than your little box. However, I have a soft spot for this next chosen opera, Dido and Aeneas. It was one of my first.
Trying to relive the glory days.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. Who doesn't look back time and time again missing their youth?
Their youth, their success, all their friends.
I've still got plenty of that for your information. Much more than you'll have success-wise if you don't shut your mouth and get going on the script. What are you fighting for? I am losing connection?
No, but you told us to be quiet, so I figured we were reading to ourselves.
No, you're supposed to be reading the script.
I knew that. It's just fun to see the screen shake when you shout. Anyway, this next opera we'll be featuring is from Dido and Aeneas. These two pieces are from the end of the opera.
Spoiler alert.
That's right. Because at this point in the show, Dido knows her beloved Aeneas once thought of leaving her. She's so heartbroken by this realization that she laments and chooses to know that him leaving will mean her own demise. The following number features the chorus singing throughout her tomb and demanding Cupids to scatter roses on her tomb, being as gentle in doing so as she was in life, to keep watch and to never leave her.
Is that just me, or is this opera extremely sad?
Welcome to the opera world. It's not all puppy dogs and kittens out here, but the real tragedy has chance yet to come.
Death invades me.
mean, that's all for Opera in a Box. So what did you think, director?
Considering how she's had input for half the show, it's safe to say she's invested.
Quiet down, both of you. I haven't decided just yet. You see, an opera like this should have a last little wow moment in this box. I have an idea, luckily seeing as you two can seem to think farther than the first few steps. So I called in a few friends of mine. You see, you need an ending that has drama. Sure, Dido chorus had that, but you should always leave the audience with a little hope.
Hope? Well, I suppose there are plenty of choices.
No, there's only one choice, really. Sit back, you two, and enjoy this showing of pensiero, the chorus of Hebrew slaves.
The Hebrew slaves who were captured after the loss of the first temple in Jerusalem? This song is from the opera Nabucco, right?
Ah, I remember this. The slaves sing about their enslavement, but even after the cruel and long hours of work, they never give up hope.
That's a lot more talking and a lot less sitting back and relaxing like I asked for. Good. Now, pensiero.
Thank you.